A game-changing tool for your real estate business. Have you ever wanted to potentially meet someone in your local community, but you haven't had an opportunity, or you don't even know how to approach them? Could that be the mayor? Could that be the chief of police? Could that be a home builder? Could that be a restaurant owner? Well, also, what about your vendors? Have you ever thought about giving them an opportunity to potentially showcase their business and for them to be able to talk about how they got started, why they got started, and how you two got connected? Well, this game-changing tool could be what you need to elevate your real estate business to the next level. What is the tool, you might be thinking? The tool is a podcast. A podcast could give you the opportunity to be able to have conversations with thought leaders, community members that you've never had an opportunity to get in front of, but you can now by asking them to be on your podcast and then you interview them. Everyone has a story and people love to share that story that they had as far as how did they become the chief of police? How did they start this building company? Those are all things that you can cover in your podcast, not to mention your vendors. Because if you're working with home sellers and you have painters and photographers and all the people that facilitate the process of that, you potentially can encourage your current customers, prospects, and new clients to watch your podcast. And that's exactly what we did with Liftoff Agents sponsoring Real Estate First Technology. 334 videos, over 3,000 subscribers. One of the first times there was ever a video podcast. We've been doing this for over 3 years and interviewed lots of different individuals in the real estate space. We want to be able to have an opportunity to get in the room, to vibe with the person, to add value, to understand their story, to then be able to potentially earn their business. There's so many different opportunities and things that you could do. Starting a podcast doesn't need to be super hard. You don't have to have mixer boards and microphones and headphones and fancy cameras and any of that. To be honest with you, we're gonna go over specifically how you can get started in this video with a podcast and how simple it is by showing you specifically what we do with our podcast. So Liftoff Agent sponsors the podcast. We have our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel could be a little harder than say the audio. So our audio goes to Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout gives you the ability to get your podcast out to all various different places. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, it'll go out to any streaming platform for audio. Now, how do you get video and audio and how does this work as far as being able to record? What are you gonna do to do a video? Well, honestly, I would recommend keeping it just online and specifically utilizing StreamYard. StreamYard is what I would use because you could do live streaming, you're gonna focus on recording, and you can literally set them up with a meeting. You can just be on your laptop or computer. I would highly recommend a 4K web camera. You could easily be able to get like say Logitech camera. Make sure you have a decent lighting. If you have a nice studio or office like this, you could do that as well. And so this gives you the ability, so if I wanted to go over to library, I can go to library right now and I can be able to show you the podcast episodes that we have. And the cool thing is you can be able to download not just the video, but you can also download the audio. So here's going to be the podcast. If I scroll down, I have download audio and or download the video. So it gives you a really awesome opportunity to be able to go through that process with your podcast. StreamYard is free, which is awesome. I would also recommend that you check out Google Calendar. I love Google Calendar that links with, say, Calendly. Calendly is a great way to be able to have someone go on your schedule and to book your podcast. So if you know who you want on your podcast, you find the email, you find the text information, you find the assistance information. When it comes to, say, for instance, scheduling and this process, traditionally, Zoom is an easy way to be able to have, and you can do this on Zoom as well. I love StreamYard because you could do live editing. So if you don't have money to be able to edit a podcast, you can do live editing. So as we play this here, you'll actually see that as I kind of scroll through, I just brought him on. This is going to be a technology provider. And then down here, I have this coming into the screen as well, which is his name. See, now I just made that happen. So I zoomed in, got closer to him. Now all that happens automatically within StreamYard. Now you can look up StreamYard.com. You can look up how that works. You can look up Calendly.com. How does that work? There's a bunch of great YouTube videos out there. If you need some assistance, comment down below. We can potentially help you with that process as well. And Buzzsprout does cost money, but it's not too much to go ahead and get started with that. And then YouTube is free, so you can upload your YouTube videos, no problem. And then when it comes to the actual podcasts themselves, so when this was being recorded on this is gonna be 4/12/2024, this is gonna be a podcast that we just went live with, and this was on StreamYard. And if I scroll down here, all of this write-up was actually done by the Liftoff agent team. So if you really need help with this process, Liftoff agent can do all the write-up for you, making sure that everything's done for you specifically. And a podcast realistically could be an amazing way for you to be able to say that your company, say like Liftoff agent, sponsors the podcast, and for you to be able to get in rooms, interview, and be around individuals, community members, your vendors, which before maybe you never would have had that opportunity. So in 2024 and beyond, I would highly recommend starting your own podcast and asking others to be on your podcast would be something that you could definitely do to maximize. Now, for an example, the actual podcast here, you're more than welcome to check out our podcast. It's on YouTube, Real Estate vs. Technology. I hope that was helpful. That's a game-changing tool that you can add to your repertoire for your real estate business today, be able to leverage your past efforts for your future successes and have more success with that process. So if you're here and so watching this video all the way to the end, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. A big thank you to Liftoff Agent, your #1 marketing and positioning agency, and our team and staff. We have 5 video editors behind the scenes that go through the process of editing these videos. Shout out to Iveta Vitz. She's amazing. She's the one that's been helping out the podcast and also these videos and getting them out there, because there's so much more that happens behind the scenes filming this content and going through this process. So God bless, take care, best of luck starting a podcast, a game-changing tool I would highly recommend, and we'll see you all on the next one.